Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. So for those unfamiliar, Caleb hammers his channel on YouTube where he does these financial audits, which basically consist of him sitting across the table from somebody and then roasting them on their finances. But I have to say, lately his titles have been getting stranger and stranger. And I don't just mean the titles, I mean the content itself. The people he finds to go on and their situations are getting more and more odd. Like, take this one for example. It's just titled, "This Dude is Choosing Yu-Gi-Oh Cards Over His Financial Future." And as a Pokemon enthusiast myself, who spent, a fair bit of money on Pokemon cards, listen, nothing extravagant, but I have hung them up on the wall. Besides that, though, I want to comment and see exactly what this is about, and I will give you my own perspective on things as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe, because that helps the channel tremendously. It's all I ask for, and in return, here's a picture of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So thanks so much, and now let's begin.
My name is Joey. I am 26 years old, based out of Rome, Georgia, and this is Financial Audit.
Well, then he could technically say, well, win in Rome, and then blow everything on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, you know what? There's some crazy places out there. Hollywood, Florida. What? Why name it Hollywood? Like, when you think Hollywood, you think California. Anyway, from Rome, Georgia. Didn't even know that place existed. But now we know. Thanks, Caleb.
So what does this internship involve and how long is it?
So the internship is through a program called SkillBridge, which is a DoD endorsed program that allows military members to go work an internship. But during that time, you're still getting like all your military pay, your benefits, your housing allowance, all that.
That's awesome. I didn't even know they offered that. Listen, the military offers so many great benefits. For the people who are into it, stick with it long term. It can be quite rewarding and very lucrative. And I think some of the truck drivers even make over $100,000 a year, depending on the routes and what they're driving, obviously. But it just goes to show you there's a ton of opportunity out there.
I'd say roughly what hits my bank account every month is about $33.50 after taxes.
And then you have a wife, so this is a dual income household?
Yes, sir. She wasn't working for about 2 months after we moved home just because we were getting settled in.
That's military. They say, yes, sir. No, sir. Very, formal, I've noticed. Very, their posture is fantastic, way better than mine. Very courteous to other people, very disciplined. It's just an interesting observation.
If I get hired on at the place I'm interning at, my salary will go up to about $62K a year.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well, what's your salary now?
I only make $3,300 a month, so whatever that is times 12, like 40,000, I think.
Yeah.
Not bad. Still, trucking can be a lot of hours. It can be very grueling, very tiresome. But again, depends what he's doing. If he's just going back and forth between one location, fine. Traveling cross country, though, I can't imagine that.
So I got a job at UPS. I worked for 3 weeks. I got my paycheck. It was $400, and then I quit the job. And I spent all of that money.
Okay.
So I've kind of just always been like, I see money, I spend money.
But you know what? It's good and bad, because the good in this is that he saw something that he wanted, he worked for it, he earned enough money to get it, he bought it, he was done. This guy seems like a very practical guy. He's like, I'm gonna work enough to buy the thing I want, and then why keep working anymore if I don't have to? A lot of people are like that. I don't think it's bad necessarily, but the only thing is priorities change over time. And it's good to have money in the back burner because you don't know what you need until you need it. Things could come up, life hits him, he has a kid maybe at some point, expenses get higher and higher, he needs an extra bedroom in the house, things start piling on, then the car breaks down. So he needs a bit of a safety net here. But I don't know, if I were a young kid, I wanted something and you work for it and you buy it, I think that's nice. I support that.
My parents always told me, don't go into debt. If you go into debt, you will you'll be dying on the Walmart floor, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They always told me stay away from credit cards and don't go out, stay away from predatory loans and stuff like that.
Well, okay, so you made it sound like you listened to them, but you're just
I did listen.
All right, so his parents are really kind of reeling him in there. If he's just spending the money that he has in his account, I mean, we could be like, oh, shame on you. But in reality, if he's not borrowing money to buy those things, it could be a lot worse.
Well, this is your checking account, so let's see here. Within the checking account, I mean, there's only $189.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing a road trip for 12 hours, having only $189, what if something happens?
Yeah.
Yikes. Definitely. He's pretty much spending all the money he's making right now. Unless some of this is withdrawing towards investments, which I don't think so. He's probably withdrawing towards hobbies. Hobbies are fun, but hobbies are meant to be more of a side thing. They supplement everything else that you're doing in life. They're not meant to be, where all of your money goes.
Priya and Duncan
sir.
and Red Deck. Yeah, you spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
Great wraps, ice cream, Zaxby. Is there anything in here that's not bull?
He's spending money left and right. It's like it's going out of fashion. It's like, oh, let's get rid of it, honey. We got $189 in our account. Let's just go and spend it. No, I don't know. A lot of these conventions, though, they do get you on the food. They say, oh, you can't bring in food and drinks from the outside. You have to buy them inside. Why? Why? It's either I don't eat now, or I just may as well take something from outside that I packed away anyway. I never got that.
I mean, I transfer in from savings a lot.
Why was the point of savings?
So that was the thing. I didn't really know much about like a savings account before I started watching your videos.
What do you think it was?
So I kind of just saw it as a way to separate money.
You know what? I gotta say, probably 90% of people out there in existence think like him. For a long time, too, for me throughout high school. I mean, even though savings was always my default, I kind of thought of it the same way. It's like, okay, checking, kind of what I need day to day. Saving is the money that I don't need day to day. But if I need it, it's there in the savings. Most people fall in that bracket.
I've always tried to keep it at a minimum of like $1,000 just because that's what I was told a long time ago is like, oh yeah, $1,000 emergency fund, good to go.
Yeah, maybe in the 90s.
Not good to go, man.
No, not good to go at all.
That's what Dave Ramsey says. He says you got to save your first $1,000. And Dave actually commented on this because people started bringing up,
Ooh, but Dave, you created $1,000 in the 1980s, and it's not adjusted for inflation. And today that would be equivalent to $4,000.
and he addressed it. He just said $1,000 is a good psychological amount to begin saving. It's meant to be just like your first step on the journey. It's not supposed to be an emergency fund. It's just supposed to be you need a small win under your belt. And if that's $1,000 in your account, that's good enough to give you the encouragement that you could do it. And if you could do 1,000, you could do 2, you could do 5, and maybe eventually 10. So I get it. From that perspective, psychologically, $1,000 is a nice round number, and it sounds a lot more achievable than $4,000.
Yeah.
Steak and Shake.
Ridiculous.
And Apple Bills and just bullshit and bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. Macari, PlayStation.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it just goes Rome Dorfhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just spending money. I mean, that's the thing. He's a guy in his mid-20s with a wife with some disposable income that he doesn't absolutely need, and he's spending it. Again, I feel like this is pretty representative of most people in their 20s. I don't think he's alone here.
I'm looking at this and I see $3,672.
Like I said, I spend a lot on my hobbies. I'm a collector. I collect trading cards. And
You should collect wealth.
yeah, I really should.
You know what? Instead of collecting trading cards, collect money. Old money. Go and look up, like, you could buy a $500 bill. You could buy a $1,000 bill if you've got some extra money to spend. Buy old American coins. There's so much collectible money out there that's just as fun to collect as Pokemon cards are. Except you can't play the money.
A very rare, like once in a blue moon opportunity came up for me to purchase something for my collection. And so I did.
A rare thing to add to the collection, said every collector ever, all the time. There's always going to be something rare to add to the collection. Just depends on how much money you want to spend to buy it.
Like I said, a really rare, like once in a blue moon item came up for me to like own in my collection. And I was like,
Your Blue Moon. I don't
I
give
was
a
like, I don't have the cash, but I got the credit card.
It's only worth it if he knows he could flip it for a profit really quick. And even then it's risky. Like, let's just say you buy like an uncirculated Black Lotus from Magic the Gathering. And some dude is like, hey, 10 grand, have my Black Lotus. And you buy it and you go into debt for it. But then you know that Black Lotus is worth 50 grand. If you wanted to flip it right now, even if you want to sell it like within a few hours, 30 grand. Someone's going to buy it in a few years, 30, I can make money off it. Then maybe I could justify that if you're okay with taking the risk. But if you're not intending on selling it, you can't afford it.
What's the minimum on the PayPal?
I don't think that there's a minimum amount on there yet, because I just used like paid or bought that like last month, so there's no like minimum payment due yet, if that makes sense.
That just means it's coming due in 60 days. That's all it is. When you open up a credit card, They allow you to spend money on it for the first 30 days, and then your statement balance is usually another 30 days after that. So you have 60 days from the time, usually, where you first spend on a credit card to when you first have to pay that off.
Dude, you're getting 0.5%. 0.15% interest.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
4.4% interest high yield savings account, SoFi. Link in the description below. It's what I use.
Yeah,
use it, dude. At least try to keep it up with inflation.
Yeah, I'm about to switch it over to either that or my dad was saying something about a 5%.
Yeah, no, 5% savings accounts usually are promotional, so they only do it for the first few months. I've seen a few. I think even Webull, which is down below in the description, by the way. I got a paid affiliate link there, so if you sign up and make a deposit, you could get some free stocks worth all the way up to a few $1,000, and it's like 15 minutes worth of work. But I think they have a high yield savings account that pays about 5%. Don't quote me on that. It's around that range. But it's promotional. Now, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not like you're gonna put your money in there and expect to get that yield forever. I mean, unless the Fed raises interest rates even higher and then, maybe the account catches up. But a lot of those at 5% right now, they're only promotional. They will go away. Other banks, though, like Ally Bank, I think they're paying like 4.3, 4.4. You can buy treasuries that pay anywhere between 4% to like 5.1%, give or take. There's CDs that you could get that are closer to like 4.5%. So there's a lot of options out there for your money.
Is military paying for housing?
They're giving me a housing allowance, but it's not like, it doesn't equate to my rent.
Is that included in that money that's coming in?
Yeah.
3,300?
Yeah, that's included in that.
If they just cut out eating out, that is proper English, Graham. If they just cut eating out, they could save probably about $1,000 a month just by doing that. Just don't go to Wendy's. Don't eat out. That's it. Cook food at home. Make coffee at home. I know it's not gonna
Make you a millionaire, Graham. Stop drinking coffee and make a million.
No, it's the small things that begin to stack over time. If you can make your coffee at home, you can make other things at home too, and it spills over. It's the principle. It's not necessarily the logistics of saving $3 a day. It's the principle. You're not going to waste money because you got to respect the money.
I did 4 years of school before I was in the military.
4 years, but no degree?
No degree, yeah.
Okay.
I messed around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done a lot before 26, because 26, you're not even close to old, and you've done a lot.
See, this guy has work ethic. He has discipline. He's got to have that if he wants to be in the military. To go through that, he obviously has all the qualities. I think just once you put him out in the real world and he has money, blowing it. That's all.
What is this, a 6-year type degree, bachelor and then master's, or is this a 4?
I think she only has like a year left before she's done with it.
Does she have to fully finance the other?
Yeah, she's going to have to fully finance the other year, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is, it's like, if they're married and they're combining everything, it seems like her debt's also going to be his as well. So it seems as though he should be like, hey, wanting to help her out so that they, as a couple, would not have all the debt. Maybe not, though.
Anytime I've thrown up anything so far, it's been like, yeah, but I have this other plan, so...
Really? Do you really? I felt like it was a pretty productive conversation.
Well, it's productive in terms of maybe laying things out for you to view it, but again, every time I've laid out something, it's just been like, yeah, but I'm going to do this.
So here's the thing. He's going on this show knowing what he has to do. He understands that he can't be living the same path as he was before. He just doesn't want to do it. So I'm not sure the point of him going on here other than just be told what to do and then just not be good with it.
So what historically have you demonstrated that would give me any confidence?
I mean, nothing to you, but in my life I have. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's great that you signed up and, did military stuff. That's incredibly, I respect that immensely. It doesn't mean you're going to be good with finances.
See, it feels like they're just spinning each other's wheels at this point. He's like, I'm in the military, I'm good at what I do, I'm this and that. You don't see all the great stuff I'm doing. But yeah, I could do better. And then it's I don't know. To me, it's going downhill at this point.
Do I lay out how to get out of the debt? Does it even matter?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely matters. The minimum payments matter. And I plan on making more on that. All my extra income that I'm going to be making is going to be going towards debts until I'm out of the debt.
You know what? That's a commonality that I've seen throughout almost everybody. They say, the debt doesn't matter because eventually I'm going to be making more money. And so when I'm making more money, I'll pay off all the debts. It's not that big of a deal. But there's always I'll make more money in the future. Oh, I'll do it later. You know what? Until that money is actually in your bank account, just assume you're not going to make any more money. Just assume. Because a lot of times it's not going to pan out as you expect.
I need you guys to get to about $16,500
Okay.
in terms of an emergency fund.
And would I put that in like a SoFi account or
Yeah,
like a
into
like a
just
high yield? Just have
high
it
yield.
sit there for a while.
And that one's the best at this point. So
What's SoFi paying right now? I'm not sure. SoFi bank account high yields. 4.4%. All right, that's good. Ally Bank savings rate. 4%. What? Okay, so SoFi is beating Ally Bank by a little bit. I love Ally though. It's hard for me to switch because I've been with Ally for such a long time. But yes, other banks are going to pay a little bit more. So just all you got to do, guys, go to Google, type in best high yield savings account, then research the top 5 accounts that you see, then pick the one that you feel is right for you. There's a whole bunch of spots out there. You can get a great high yield rate and enjoy.
you have your company 401k, but max out your Roth IRA every year. Absolutely. Yeah. 6,500 at this point, and it goes up with inflation typically.
Okay,
every
because
year.
I put like 10% of my income into the retirement right now.
Right now,
Would-
how
yeah,
much
would
is
you
being matched?
So the military is matching 5% because that's through the
Okay,
military.
then take it down to 5% until all this is paid off and you have a fully funded emergency fund. Then amp it up to 20.
I tend to agree with Caleb. Listen, saving 20%, you can't go wrong with that. I think that is fantastic. That's what I would do. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not this guy follows through this. So with that said, you guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe. Feel free to add me on Snapchat and Instagram. And with that said, until next time.